Just waiting on the start of this game between the Barrie Baycats and the Brantford Red Sox. Thank you so much for joining us here on Baycats TV. It is the Red Sox at home at Arnold Anderson Stadium facing off against the Barrie Baycats. We're just waiting on a bit of a sun delay, so we'll give you the starting lineups shortly. But first, we'll wait for the sun to go down just a little bit more and give you all the live action here between these two teams. It is the Red Sox and the Baycats right here on Baycats TV. Here's the PA announcer for the Brantford Red Sox introducing the Red Sox batting order. Let's listen in.
At second base, number 28, Troy Banks. At shortstop, number 26, John DeZamba. Your catcher, number 18, Colton Fountain. In right field, number 32, Liam Sutherland. At first base, number 21, Spencer Jameson. At third base, number 5, Garrett Ryder. Your designated hitter tonight, number 70, Evan Ryan. In left field, number 14, Roger Keane. And getting the bump up, number 17, Bennett.
We'll return to Arnold Anderson Stadium in just a moment. And now the national anthem, O Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome to Arnold Anderson Stadium, BL matchup between the Barrie Baycats and the Brantford Baycats TV. But we're still going to have all of the action for you. It was a short sun delay. Still waiting to see how long before first pitch here at Ballpark. But if you're unfamiliar, the sun actually comes in right from center field here at the Brantford Red Sox home ballpark of Arnold Anderson Stadium. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get going. Even though it is Baycats Radio, not Baycats TV, we still have a few things for you to look at on the screen. So let's give you the Barrie Baycats starting lineup, managed by Josh Matlow. Jake Wilson will lead off and play center field, and Noel McGarry-Noel will bat second. He's the designated hitter. Malik Williams plays his second game as a Barrie Baycat, hitting third and playing first base. Then James Anderson, the left fielder, batting fourth. Tyler Plumpton, the catcher, hitting really well this season. Tyler is batting fifth. And then Carson Burns, the shortstop. Brad McQuinn, getting his first start as a Baycat, is in right field. And Brendan Cawley, the third baseman. Owen Jansen batting ninth. He is the second baseman. On the mound for the Barrie Baycats, we'll see Evan Souls in the bottom of the first. First, though, we're going to see Bennett Moore making his fourth start of the season, fourth appearance. He has been a starter in all of them so far. 0-3 this season so far for Moore, an 8.48 ERA, 8 strikeouts, 13 walks. It's the walks to keep an eye on when it comes to Baycats, their approach at the plate. He gave up quite a few of them in his last start, and this is a team that can be pretty patient at the plate, so we'll see how that goes. Pitching in his fourth game, he's pitched in 11.2. Just waiting for first pitch here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us here on Baycats TV and Baycats Radio. You see on the screen right now the game, when it goes to an innings break, you'll see a little notice on the bottom right as well. We're just in a small delay from first pitch, just waiting for the sun to go down just a little bit more, as it is beyond the outfield and very hard to see right now. I'm sitting here in the broadcast booth, and it's not an ideal spot. Looking at the weather as we enter this game today, other than the sun, it's actually a really nice cool day here in Brantford. The wind has picked up a whole lot over the last half hour, so it's actually not that bad right now. But as I was prepping for everything, I had to find somewhere where the wind wouldn't affect my work because it was really, really strong. But we'll see how that continues. It's actually picking up as we speak right now. I hope it's not going into the mic. I've got something in front of the mic to hopefully stop that a little bit. Jake Wilson is in the on-deck circle right now. The umpires are around home plate, and we gave you that lineup. We'll give it to you one more time on the screen. Wilson, McGarry Doyle, then Williams, Anderson, Plumpton, Burns, McQuinn, Colley, and Owen Jansen in the Baycats batting order. And then we'll give you the Red Sox batting order at the bottom of the inning. They'll face off against Bennett Moore, making his fourth start of the season. And hopefully the game gets started fairly quickly. They're just waiting for that sun. We'll take one more break and come back for first pitch. You're watching the Barrie Baycats and the Brantford Red Sox on Baycats TV and listening on Baycats Radio. Welcome back to Baycats Radio and Baycats TV. The Red Sox have just taken the field, so we'll give you one more look at that Baycats batting order on the screen right now. No real surprise at the top of the order. It will be Jake Wilson going to bat in just a moment's time. So the Baycats and the Red Sox just about ready to get underway. The wind is really, we mentioned that it had kind of calmed down a little bit. It's kind of come back since that short break. And it is really coming in from all directions of the outfield right now. So you might not see the ball carry quite as much, at least early on in this game. Bennett Moore, the right-hander, making his fourth start of the season. We saw his stats just a little bit earlier. We'll have them on the screen again for you here for viewers on Baycats TV. Right-hander from Goderich, Ontario, stands at 6'6" on the mound, 210. And he is 0-3, looking for his first win this season. And he'll face off against Jake Wilson, who will be the first batter of this game for the Baycats.
Center fielder, number 15, Jake Wilson.
So Wilson, the normal leadoff hitter for the Baycats, back in there today. Was on base 4 times yesterday, had 4 different hits, scored twice in that game where they won against the Hamilton Cardinals. First pitch upstairs to Wilson. Wilson, left-handed batter against the right-handed Bennett Moore. We got started at 8:18. Wilson fouls it right back to the screen. It'll be Wilson, then Noel McGarry Doyle to lead off in the first inning. Lefty back in the batting box, and now the right-hander delivers. Now it's a ground ball right to the second baseman. Moves over and throws on to first, and there is one away. That's Troy Banks at second. Let's give you the full defense for the Brantford Red Sox. It's Roger Keane in left field, Jesse Fishbaum in center. Right fielder is Liam Sutherland. Left to right in the infield, Garrett Larner at third base. John DeZomba at shortstop. Second baseman is Troy Banks, and the first baseman is Spencer Jamison. Behind the plate, Colton Fountain for Bennett Moore. Of course, that game against Hamilton for the Baycats, they won 11-4 yesterday. That was at home at Vintage Throne Stadium. So now Noel McGarry Doyle stands in, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Moore working quickly, kicks and throws, and that is outside, just maybe a little bit high as well. McGarry Doyle leads the Baycats in batting average this season. 1-1. And that is a strike, 1-2. McGarry Doyle with excellent speed. And not only does he lead the Baycats in batting average this season, he was on base 6 times yesterday. 1-2. And that one just misses on the inside part of the plate. 2-2. McGarry Doyle with a lot of infield hits this season as well. And he cuts on and misses at that one. Strike number 3, and that's the first strikeout of the game for Bennett Moore. So 2 quick outs for Moore on the mound. And that'll bring up Malik Williams playing his second game with the Baycats. And Malik Williams with some great college stats. We saw them on the Baycats social media earlier today. In 58 games, he had 66 RBI, hit .362 as he takes the ball 1-0. And that was all this season. All about the start for the Red Sox. So now he joins the Baycats. Played in his debut game yesterday. Had a couple of big RBI in that game. His first hit as a Baycat also in that one. 1-0. And that one's outside. Count 2-0 to Malik Williams. Still in the first. Baycats 0, Red Sox 0, 2 away. In the top of the first, game was delayed just for a little bit because of a sun delay, which is not something we see typically in Baycats games, but Brantford Red Sox fans very familiar. Here's the 2-0 up high, and it's 3-0. Bennett Moore found the strike zone quite a bit in that at-bat. in the first two at-bats, really, but hasn't found it here against Malik Williams. Now here's the 3-0 pitch. And that is just high, and that's going to be a 4-pitch walk to Malik Williams. Here's James Anderson.
Now back left fielder number 34, James Anderson.
Anderson standing in for the first time today. All the way up in that 4 spot in the batting order. Was in the 9 spot yesterday. Had a big double and a single. Went 2 for 5 overall. A lot of at-bats in yesterday's game. First pitch up and away, 1-0 to Anderson. Anderson, a right-handed hitter against the right-handed Bennett Moore.
I knew the umpire at the time, and I thought he was going to ring me up. I start walking away.
Here's the pitch, and that one's way up and in, and it will cause a mound visit to happen. Colton Fountain worried about Bennett Moore's location, I think, after the 4-pitch walk, and now 2 straight balls to James Anderson. So Fountain goes out to the mound just to talk to Moore a little bit. Count 2-0. Malik Williams takes his lead off first. Here's the pitch to Anderson. And that one's up high. So now the count is 3-0 to James Anderson. Tyler Plumpton waits on deck. And that one hit James Anderson. So the 3-0 pitch hits Anderson. And we mentioned that the walks were a problem for Bennett Moore in his last outing. He went 4 innings, gave up 5 runs. Only the 3 hits, though. So how did he give up 5 runs while giving up only 3 hits? Well, he walked 7 and only struck out 1. So 7 of his 14 walks came in that last outing, and now he's walked 1 and hit 1 with a pitch here in the first inning.
This is just one of 3 games tonight in the Intercounty Baseball League. The first one updates for the
So here's Tyler Plumpton. Up high, and it is another ball. Plumpton standing in as the catcher. He has the 2nd highest batting average on the Baycats right now. A really nice breakout season for Tyler.
You look at the game a couple Sundays ago against Kitchener.
And that's a strike. So that's the first strike in quite a few pitches after a 4-pitch walk, and what would have been a 4-pitch walk if the ball didn't hit James Anderson. So Plumpton stands in. Bit of a new feel to this at-bat. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Still scoreless. Runners take their leads off first and second. That one's inside, and the count's 2-1 to Tyler Plumpton at the plate. Really turning into a nice evening here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. My first time here, actually. Here's the pitch. And that is a strike. So it's even at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Bennett Moore, who started this inning so well, getting Wilson out and then the strikeout to McGarry Doyle with a 2-2 count to Tyler Plumpton. Here it is. And that one's up and away. And another 3-ball count that Bennett Moore's got himself into. That's 3 straight. Malik Williams, who walked, and then hit by pitch James Anderson. Williams on second, Anderson on first. Plumpton at the plate, count 3-2. Bennett Moore stands in, kicks and throws. Both runners go, and that one's hit to right center field. That one's going to get down for a base hit. Malik Williams, round third, he's coming home. Anderson goes to third. It's a base hit for Tyler Plumpton. The Baycats take a 1-0 lead. Anderson goes all the way to third on the single, and Williams scores, and the Baycats score in the first inning. Carson Burns looking to keep things going. He stands in now, left-handed hitter against the right-handed Bennett Moore. All this happening with 2 out. Pitch upstairs, 1-0. Another first pitch ball from Bennett Moore. Burns in, bat over the shoulder, and he hits that one into left field. That one's going far, and that one's going to go all the way to the wall. Anderson's going to score. Plumpton is going to round third. He's going to score. It's a double for Carson Burns. It scores both runners, and the Baycats take a 3-0 lead. So an inning that started so well for Bennett Moore has resulted in 3 runs for the Baycats.
Number 47, Brad McQuinn.
It's a double for Carson Burns, and if that sounds familiar, you might be thinking of yesterday's game where he had a first inning double. So for 2 straight games, Burns has doubled in the first inning and really put his team in a good spot. Here's Brad McQuinn making his first start for Barrie. We've seen him as a defensive replacement, and he fouls that one to the left side. But this is his first time in the starting lineup for the Baycats. Just signed a few days ago. Baycats adding another outfielder to their team. He has IBL experience. Lefty hitter once again. A lot of lefties in this Baycats batting order against the righty. That's a ground ball. Moving over is the third baseman. Larner makes the play, and that'll end the inning. But the Baycats score 3. And after half an inning, it's Baycats 3, Brantford Red Sox 0. You're listening to the Barrie Baycats and the Brantford Red Sox on Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Welcome back to Baycats TV. First inning brought to you by Starting Lineup Uniforms and Apparel, the official jersey provider of the Barrie Baycats. Your season starts here. Starting lineup for the Brantford Red Sox on your screen right now for Baycats TV viewers. Jesse Fishbaum leads things off, and then Troy Banks, the second baseman, John DeZomba, the shortstop, then Colton Fountain, the catcher, Liam Sutherland, the right fielder, batting fifth, and then Spencer Jamison, the first baseman, Garrett Larner, the third baseman, Evan Ryan, the designated hitter, and then the left fielder, Roger Keane. On the mound for the Barrie Baycats and delivering a first pitch strike to Jesse Fishbaum is Evan Souls, making his 10th appearance of the season. First start, though. Still doesn't have a record on the season, but he has a 4.76 ERA, 14 strikeouts, 6 walks. This is his 18th inning pitched so far, and Evan has been really good this year. Pitch outside, and the count is 1-2 to Jesse Fishbaum, leading things off for the Brantford Red Sox against Souls. It's always a little bit different for a pitcher when he makes the start versus coming out of the bullpen. Souls, so far this season, has made all of his appearances out of the bullpen, but he's a guy that has given them several innings in different outings, so seems like a natural pick to go to the rotation when you need another starter to pitch there. Nice pitch, gets weak contact from Fishbaum, goes right back to Souls, who tossed it to Malik Williams, and there is one away. Let's give you the defense for the Barrie Baycats. Noel McGarry-Doyle's in left field. Noel McGarry-Doyle is DHing today. James Anderson is the DH. Let's restart, because I got that completely wrong. James Anderson is in left field. Center fielder is Jake Wilson. Right fielder is Brad McQuinn. Left to right in the infield, Brendan Colley's at third. Shortstop is Carson Burns. Second baseman is Owen Jansen. First baseman is Malik Williams. Tyler Plumpton is behind the plate for Evan Souls. And then Noel McGarry-Doyle is DHing. First pitch, a ball to second baseman Troy Banks. Second one in there as he's working quickly for a strike. So Evan Souls working really quickly. He's actually ready on the mound as Banks was stepping back into the plate. Banks hits that one to right field, moving over and making a diving play. No, it gets by him. Brad McQuinn, it looked like he made a heck of a play, but the ball got by him, and it's going to be a double for Troy Banks. What a shot by Brad McQuinn to try and get that ball, but it just got by him. It's a double for Banks.
26, John December.
So that'll bring up John DeZomba. Brad McQuinn with a heck of an effort in right field. So now DeZomba standing in. Third batter of the inning against Evan Souls. And Souls again already ready. Never really noticed how fast Evan Souls works before, but I guess that's something that looks a little different when you're starting the game. Pitch from him, hard contact right side, and that one is just gonna go foul. Wow, that one got your heart rate up just a little bit. It went foul though, and Souls can't forget about that one. The Troy Banks ball to right was hit pretty hard. That was hit really hard, but it curved just a little bit too far into foul territory, and DeZomba will have to do that again if he wants to have a successful at-bat against Evan Souls. 0-1 coming up. Outside. 1-1. Runner on second. One out here in the bottom of the first. The runner is Troy Banks. The batter is John DeZomba. The pitcher is Evan Souls. It's 3-0 Barrie here in the bottom of the first. Souls looks back at second. Now kicks, delivers. And that one is fouled right back to the screen. Only just got a piece of that. Kind of bounced back there. Baycats pitching coach Brad Grieveson, the one to grab that. Count 1-2. Here it is. And that's another weak foul ball, this time over to the Baycats dugout. And a nice play made by Andrew White, a different Baycats coach. So we've got a coach making a nice play on a foul ball on both of those last two. One by Brad Grieveson, who is also a pitcher for this Baycats team. One by Andrew White, who is the bench coach. Here is the actual pitch from Evan Souls. And that is just inside, and it's 2-2. So Souls resetting, count even at 2. Looks back at the runner again. Kicks and throws, and that one's way inside, and Souls losing the strike zone a little bit on that pitch. It's 3-2. Colton Fountain, the catcher, is on deck. Wind coming in. Souls looking back again. Pitching a little slower between pitches, trying to regain his focus. Here it is. And that is hit to the first baseman, Malik Williams, who will toss it to Souls, covering. He makes the play, and there are 2 away. Runner Troy Banks goes to third, but DeZomba retired. Here's Colton Fountain. Fountain, his first at-bat in this game, batting fourth in the cleanup spot for the Red Sox today. And that one's fouled way off. If the other ones were weak ground ball foul balls, that one was a fly ball into foul territory, though, and it is only 0-1. On your screen on Baycats TV, we can give you one more look at that Red Sox batting order. Here's the pitch. That is popped up. Moving over is the second baseman. He'll be called off by the right fielder, Brad McQuinn, making the catch. Owen Jansen, the second baseman, giving him a fist pump. And we head to the second inning. Baycats leading 3-0 through 1. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Welcome back. Second inning brought to you by BarrieToday.com. BarrieToday.com, local news, weather, Baycats scores, and more. BarrieToday.com, your community, your news. Brendan Colley will lead things off in the inning, followed by Owen Jansen, and then the top of the order, and Jake Wilson. First pitch to Colley is fouled back. It's interesting, and this is not related to the game at all, so bear with me for a moment, but that's the second time I've been on commentary and I've mixed up a fist pump and a fist bump, because the fist pump is like a celebratory thing, and the fist bump is like two people going with the fist bump, and I said the wrong one, I'm pretty sure, so not that it matters, but I apologize for that. Colley hits it on the left side, and that one's going to go foul. So Brendan Colley picks up the bat, heads back into the batter's box, and we'll take another 0-2 pitch. If you're just joining us, the Baycats took a 3-0 lead in the first inning. Two quick outs from Bennett Moore, but then Baycats scored three. Here's the pitch from Moore, and that one's fouled away once again, making it 1-2. So that first inning, 3-run inning has held to this point, still 3-0 in the top of the second. If you're with us, we thank you for being with us here on Baycats TV and Baycats Radio. Colley swings and misses. Fountain drops it, but he throws on to first. First baseman, Spencer Jamieson, gets it, steps on the bag, and the Rays one away. So it's a swinging strikeout for Brendan Colley, and that'll bring up Owen Jansen. Was talking to Josh Matlow, the manager of the Baycats, earlier today, and we were just talking about how Brendan Colley is so good at extending at-bats and having good at-bats. Pitch to Jansen for a base hit. Owen Jansen on the first pitch of that at-bat, first pitch he sees today, in fact, gets himself a single to right field. And that'll bring up Jake Wilson. Wilson grounded out in his first at-bat. He's 0 for 1. Wilson standing in, runner taking the lead off first. That's Owen Jansen against Bennett Moore, the pitcher. Red Sox wearing their red shirts with the white pants. And the Baycats wearing their away navy blue uniforms with the gray pants. Count 1-0. Here the pitch comes from Bennett Moore. And that is down low 2-0. Bennett Moore is actually not giving up a ton of hits this season, but it has been the command that has not gone the way he into today. Already another one, and a bunch of 3-ball counts. That is popped up. Moving over is Colton Fountain, the catcher. He's going to get called off by Bennett Moore, but no, Fountain gets it. He calls off Moore again, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. So now Noel McGarry-Doyle stands in, reached base all 6 times yesterday. Batting in the 2 spot today. McGarry-Doyle with the bat over his shoulder, takes the first pitch, and it is a ball, 1-0. Jansen's got good speed over at first. McGarry-Doyle waiting for his sign, gets it from the third base coach. Andrew White over there at third. Runner going, Jansen, swing and a miss from McGarry-Doyle, but Jansen was into second without a throw necessary. A great jump by Owen Jansen from first base, and he steals the base. So Jansen in at second, McGarry-Doyle, who also has great speed, standing at the plate. Count 1-1. And Moore steps off, looks back at second, and decides to keep Jansen close and reset himself on the mound a little bit. Wind coming in once again. Looks back at second, now comes home, and that is up and away, 2-1. 2-1. We're working fairly slowly. Here's the pitch, and that is grounded right to shortstop. McGarry-Doyle runs fast, throw on to first, and it's dropped. So moving around third and scoring is Owen Jansen. So Jansen with a heads-up scoring play on that to score and make it 4-0. McGarry-Doyle reaches on first. Spencer Jamison just dropped the ball. So Jansen scores on the play. McGarry-Doyle reaches on what I would imagine is an error. Wait for the official scoring on that one. And that'll bring up Malik Williams. Williams does not have an official at bat. He walked in his first one.
Came around to score the first run of the night.
Baycats very happy to have Malik Williams on the team this season. Here's the pitch, and that is outside. Sun setting fairly early in the game, a little earlier than the Baycats are used to the sun setting in a game, because the Baycats typically start at 7 or 7:30. But it is an 8 o'clock start here, so the sun is going to set more quickly, which is important because it is in right field staring at the batter's box. That could be 2. No, it won't be. McGarry-Doyle's too fast. Shortstop moves it over to first, makes the play. There were 2 out, so it didn't even need to be 2. Malik Williams grounds out, and that will end the inning. The Baycats add one more. It's 4-0 heading to the bottom of the second. Baycats 4, Brantford Red Sox 0. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV.
Liam Sutherland.
Liam Sutherland will lead things off in the bottom of the second for the Brantford Red Sox. It'll be Sutherland and Spencer Jameson and Garrett Larner for the Red Sox. Facing off against Evan Souls' second inning of work. First one went well. Pitch outside. Gave up a double, but nothing else. Double was to Troy Banks. Also got a pop-up and 2 groundouts in the inning from Souls. 1-0 coming up, and that is well foul onto the trees. Baycats 7-6 so far this season. Here's the 1-1. It is way up high. Canton at 2-1. It was an error, by the way, to McGarry Doyle's on the McGarry Doyle play that let him reach first base. So it was an error on Spencer Jameson, who's on deck. 2-1. Big swing and a miss. 2-2. Pitch cut. And Sutherland hits it up the middle for a base hit. Liam Sutherland on base. Jake Wilson fields it in shallow left center field, and it is a base hit for Liam Sutherland. Out of town scoreboard around the IBL.
First baseman number 21, Spencer Jameson.
This is one of 3 games going on at the moment. Hamilton and Kitchener are playing. It's the Hamilton Cardinals up 3-1 over the Kitchener Panthers in Hamilton. And the London Majors, last season's IBL champions, are up 2-0 over the Guelph Royals. Baycats up 4-0 in this one, and a big swing and a miss by Spencer Jameson from Evan Souls. There's a runner on first. We're here in the bottom of the second inning. Baycats 4, Brantford 0 so far. I'm Patrick Melbourne here on Baycats TV and Baycats Radio. Here's the pitch, up and away. Atmosphere here really nice at Arnold Anderson Stadium. This is my first time here, I'll admit that. But it's a really nice park. Now I've been to 3 of them this season. Here's the pitch from Evan Souls. That's wrong, actually. I've been to 4. Moving over in the outfield after that ball was hit is Noel McGarry Doyle, but McGarry Doyle drops it. And excuse me, that's James Anderson in left field, drops it. And there is 2 on with nobody out here in the second.
Third baseman number 5, Garrett Larner.
So James Anderson, who's playing left field tonight. I'm used to seeing Noel McGarry Doyle out there, but it is James Anderson. Did not make that play in left. It is going to be scored an error, and there are 2 on with nobody out for Garrett Larner, the third baseman. Here's the pitch from Souls, and that is a first pitch strike to Larner. Larner, the third baseman today. But the Arnold Anderson Stadium atmosphere, it's really nice. It's cool. Perfect night. No real bugs so far, at least, because that one's up and in. I need to ask the Brantford Red Sox broadcasters, Reese Demani and Colin Ward, who are also here broadcasting the game for their YouTube channel. I need to ask them how bad the bugs get. That is strike 3, a 3-pitch strikeout to Garrett Larner. And there's 1 out here in the second. Because, you know, the bugs have been off and on throughout this season. We went down to Toronto, and there were no real bugs in that game over at Christie Pitts. But last night at Vintage Throne Stadium, the mosquitoes were about as bad as I have seen them. And that's saying something, because they can get pretty bad at Vintage Throne Stadium. So I'm going to have to ask Reese and Colin about that one. That is just low, 1-0. This is Evan Ryan, the DH. Righty-righty matchup. It's the righty designated hitter at the plate, righty pitcher on the mound. Souls looking back at second. There are 2 on and 1 out. Runners going, both of them, and it's fouled away. Wow, it looked like Liam Sutherland decided to go from second, and then Spencer Jameson, who reached on first on an error, decided to go to follow his lead and go to second base after Sutherland decided to go to third. But it was a foul ball, so they'll have to do that again if they want to do that and get the extra feet. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here it is. And that's strike two.
In that situation,
Right in the middle of the strike zone, 1 and 2.
like you don't have a strike on you yet, right? You can see the runner going in the corner of your eye. You can have a pretty good idea whether or not he's going to make it.
Souls looking back at the runner. You wonder how frustrating that is on the base pass. There's a swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Evan Souls on the mound against Evan Ryan, the hitter. First strikeout of the game for Ryan. Another strikeout for Evan Souls, and there are 2 away.
Left fielder number 14, Roger Keane.
So here's Roger Keane. So Souls, second strikeout of the game so far.
Roger King,
And he'll face off against the left fielder, Roger Keane.
still opportunity.
First pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Second, 2 outs. Bottom of the second.
Bigger lead at first with Spencer Jamieson than there is at second with Liam Sutherland. Souls looking back though. Kicks and throws. And that's hit up the middle, but it's going to be a nice play by Carson Burns to make the catch on a line out and retire this side. 5 batters come to bat in the second inning. A couple of base runners reach, but nobody scores. It's still Baycats 4, Red Sox nothing. You're listening to IBL Baseball on Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Fans, all Saturday afternoon home games that start at 4 p.m. this season are Junior Baycats Days at Vintage Throne Stadium with the support and partnership of Rock 95, Cool FM, Barrie 360, Moonwalk Entertainment, and Dream Parties. Family fun will be taken to a whole new level. Bennett Moore back on the mound. First pitch to James Anderson is up high, 1-0. It'll be Anderson, then Tyler Plumpton, and Carson Burns. So the left fielder, then the catcher, and the shortstop. Righty Moore pitches, and that one's inside, and Anderson can't be feeling thrilled about that. He got hit with a pitch like that in the first at-bat of the game for him. Nothing intentional, just Moore's command has not been where he's wanted it to be. Here's the pitch from Moore, and that one's up high, so it's 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Bennett Moore pitching to James Anderson here in the third inning. And that one's inside. Again, it would have hit him. And that is a 4-pitch walk. Not the first one of the night for Bennett Moore. Is the first one of the night for James Anderson. He's on base for the second time. And that'll bring up Tyler Plumpton. Third inning brought to you by First Aid Canada, your Canadian source for first aid kits, AEDs, safety products, and more. Shop online today at firstaidcanada.com. Tyler Plumpton stands in, shows bunts, and pulls it back. It's a strike. Runner over at first, James Anderson. Thinking about going, decides not to. Wind really coming in. I laughed because tech set up just a little bit. Hopefully it is not coming across on the mic. I'm doing my best to not have it come across on the mic, but it's getting tough at times. The wind has been strong here. But it's been almost a perfect night. Other than that, fouled away by Tyler Plumpton, and the count is 0-2. And I mean it. It's nice and cool. No humidity, no rain. Not really a cloud anywhere to be seen. It's been a good night to pick if you wanted to go see some baseball. Count 1-2. That's a ground ball up the middle. Nice grab by Bennett Moore. Could be two. Throws it to one. Back to first. And they got him. It's a double play. And there are two out. So James Anderson reached on a walk, but Tyler Plumpton grabs into a double play, and there are two away.
Now back to shortstop, number 3, Carson Burns.
So now Carson Burns, really a good play at second base by Troy Banks and by the shortstop John DeZamba together to get that double play, and then Spencer Jacobson over at first base to complete it. So Moore now working with two out. Here's the pitch to Burns, and that is a strike. 1-1. Carson Burns standing in. Bat over the shoulder. Pitch coming from Moore, and that is hit into left field, moving over. And it's going to fall in foul territory. It's 1-2. That one drifted deep into left field and ended up pretty well foul. I wonder if that's kind of an effect of the winds. So Burns coming back in. The wind has just made things about as unpredictable as they can get, I think. Well, it's baseball. You never know how unpredictable it can get. We're ready on the hill. Kicks and throws. And that is just 2-2. Burns, and then Brad McQuinn is on deck. I don't think I've ever experienced wind like this in the broadcast booth. 2-2. And that is strike 3. Burns down on strikes. It ends up being a 1-2-3 inning for Bennett Moore on the mounds. Still 4-0 Baycats. We head to the bottom of the third. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Bottom 3, Jesse Fishbaum coming up for his second at-bat. Just got confirmation from Brantford's broadcasters Reese Demani and Colin Ward that this kind of wind at this stadium is not a normal thing. This is a bit unusual, so it's interesting. The wind has actually been so strong that it almost feels like it's going to rain, even though there are no clouds out. It's not something I feel like I've experienced before. At least not in the broadcast booth, maybe day to day. Here's the 1-1 to Fishbaum. Hit up the middle. Into the air. Moving over is Jake Wilson. He makes the catch in deep center field. And there's one away.
Now batting second baseman, number 28, Troy Banks.
Troy Banks hit a double his first time up. I'm really doing the best I can, by the way, to not let that affect the sound of this broadcast, but there will be a point at times, I think, where there's not a lot I can do except speak closer to the mic, and that will just result in a sound that's not any good either. So we'll do what we can. First pitch to Banks outside, ball one. Second one, big swing and a miss, 1-1. Banks with that big double has been the biggest hit so far for the Brantford Red Sox. Pitch from Souls is up high. There have been base runners in both of the first and second innings so far for the Baycats. Or, excuse me, for the Red Sox against the Baycats. So even though it's 4-0, they have been threatening a little bit. 2-1 down and away. Tyler Plumpton catching Evan Souls. It's Souls' first start of the season. He's a guy who the Baycats are looking to maybe have that happen more, have him start more now that Jason Aquino has left the team. Count 3-2 after that foul ball. And now everybody just takes a moment. Umpire walks the ball back to the mounds. Nice crowd here at Arnold Anderson Stadium, by the way. I'm here in one of the media booths. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Up and away, and that's a walk. So Banks has reached both times today, and that will bring up John DeZamba. They do good work across their social media platforms and on their broadcasts with Reese and Colin. Here's the pitch from Evan Souls to John DeZamba, and that is on the ground right side. It'll get through. It's a base hit. Rounding second and going to third is Troy Banks. Throw comes in, and there will be runners on the corners with only 1 out here in the third.
Now back to catcher number 18, Colton Fountain.
Colton Fountain popped up his last time. It actually ended the first inning. Baycats hoping for a ground ball or something that could end this inning. Souls ready, goes over to first for a pickoff, and it'll go past him. Malik Williams watches the ball fly past him, and it will score a run for the Brantford Red Sox. Troy Banks scores on the error by Souls. John DeZamba moves up to second, and the Brantford Red Sox have scored a run. It is 4-1.
Souls was thinking exactly what we were. DeZamba steal a bag.
So DeZamba moves up to second. Malik Williams was the one who grabbed that ball and got it in before DeZamba could get to third, but it was a high throw from Souls. First pitch to Colton Fountain is inside, 1-0. One out coming up. Looks back at second again. I don't think he's going to be picking off again this inning. Ground ball to third. Colley over to first, 2 away.
Now batting right fielder number 32, Liam Sutherland.
So here's Liam Sutherland. It's a bit of a team that manages the Brantford Red Sox this year. Looks like Nick Burdett is penciled in as today's manager. He has Liam Sutherland batting in the 5 spot. Here's the pitch from Souls. It is in there for a strike, 0-1. So we mentioned base runners, actually runners that had reached scoring position in every inning so far, and that was true in this inning as well, and a run came across for Brantford. That's on the ground. Moving over is Jansen, throws on to first, and that will end the inning. A grand out for Liam Sutherland, but the Brantford Red Sox add 1. It's Baycats 4, Red Sox 1. Heading to the 4th inning, you're watching Baycats TV and listening on the Baycats Radio Network. Fourth inning coming up. It is brought to you by Centerfield Foods, feeding fans and family at the Barrie Community Sports Complex since 2005. Brad McQuinn will lead things off for the Baycats. Bennett Moore still out there on the mound here in the fourth inning. First pitch from Moore, and that is hit into the air, into foul territory. Moving over is Colton Fountain, and he makes the play. Makes a good catch behind home plate. A couple of fielders are at him, including Bennett Moore, as well as the first baseman, Spencer Jamison, but it was Fountain that made the play, and there is one away. So McQuinn 0 for 2. Colley struck out his first time swinging. The wind has kind of calmed down, at least for the moment. Righty-righty matchup. Here it is. And that pitch isn't a good one. It's a wild pitch. Goes all the way back to the backstop, but it doesn't matter. It's only 1-0. Nobody on base right now with one out here in the fourth. That's in there for a strike, 1-1. One ball, one strike, one away. 4-1 Baycats. We play in the top of the fourth. And that is inside, and it is 2-1. Brendan Colley has been playing more in the last few games. Didn't start in yesterday's game. Came in as a defensive replacement later on. 2-1. It is low, 3-1. He didn't start because Adam Odd played that game at third base. Malik Williams at first base, as he is tonight. That one is just going to get in the strike zone. Looked a little bit inside at first glance, but the umpire decided it was a strike, 3-2. And that one hits him. That one was even further inside. And another hit by pitch from Bennett Moore. Colley reaches with one away. Saw a hit by pitch in the first with James Anderson, who ended up walking in his next at-bat. And then the second one, this time to Brendan Colley here in the third. Or excuse me, in the fourth. So here's Owen Jansen. Jansen, another player who entered as a defensive replacement yesterday. I felt kind of bad for our statistician at Vintage Throne Stadium, Gary Mason, because there were so many substitutions late in the game. And he does a great job operating point streak and as the official scorer, but it's not an easy job. First pitch is a called strike to Owen Jansen, count 0-1. It is really not an easy job, so whenever you follow along online and look at the box score after the game, that's thanks to Gary Mason. And remember, for the Baycats for so long, it was thanks to Tim Clark, who is the longtime statistician. Will always be a Baycat, Tim Clark. One ball, one strike. His brother Mike, longtime PA announcer at Vintage Throne Stadium.
One ball, one strike.
This season, if you go to the ballpark, you'll hear Rob Daniels on the mic from Cool FM. That one's up the middle on the ground. Nice flip to second for one, back to first. And it's a beautiful double play to end the inning. What a play defensively. Flipped it to the fielder, moved it back to first base, and that retires the side. We head to the next half inning. It is Baycats 4, Red Sox 1. You're watching on Baycats TV and listening on the Baycats Radio Network. Spencer Jamison to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. What a play that was to end the top of the 4th inning. Pitch inside to Jamison. Evan Souls still out there on the mound. We'll give you the stats coming into the game once again here on Baycats TV if you're watching. That is hit right back to him. It's going to get through him, but Carson Burns makes a good move over to get behind the ball defensively, throws on to first, and there is one away. Nice play by Burns to get there in time.
Now batting third baseman number 5, Garrett Larner.
So here's Garrett Larner. Tyler Plumpton behind the plate. They're keeping an eye on him right now. Looks like he needs a second. Something's going on there. Hopefully he's okay. It's the manager as well as a coach and the umpire looking at Plumpton right now. Plumpton has his hands on his knees, looking down at the ground. And the Baycats infielders gathering up. Plumpton stands back up. Everybody going back to their normal positions now. He grabs his glove, grabs his mask. It looks like he's going to stay in the game, so it's a good sign. Gets a round of applause for all of that. Plumpton back behind the plate, catching some warm-up pitches from Evan Souls. Says he's okay, and we'll get back going. So Tyler Plumpton just needing a moment. Here on Baycats TV and the Baycats Radio Network, you're listening to live radio. The Baycats at the Red Sox at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Patrick Melbourne here with you. Barrie Baycats 4, Brantford Red Sox 1. Here's the pitch from Evan Souls, and it is inside to Garrett Larner. Larner wears number 5, playing third base today. Next one is into the strike zone. Count 1-1. Pitch from the righty as the wind starts up again, as there's a strike, 1-2. This wind is just unbelievable. Right now it's not so much in this direction, but you can hear it. Count 2-2. You can hear it and you can see it on the trees, especially one tree right behind the Baycats dugout, and that is strike 3. A beautiful pitch from Evan Souls, 2 away. So he strikes out looking, and that'll bring up Evan Ryan.
Now batting your designated hitter number 70, Evan Ryan.
There's the wind. It's back. You can hear it, I'm sure. Sorry that you can hear it, but at least you can tell when the wind is coming back toward home plate. 2 out here in the 4th inning. Here's the pitch to Evan Ryan from Evan Souls, and that one's way up and in. Ryan ducks. And it is 1-0. So Evan versus Evan. Evan Ryan, the batter. Evan Souls on the mound. Here's the pitch from the righty to the righty, and it's hit up the middle. Jake Wilson moving over, and Jake Wilson makes a leaping catch to end the inning. Evan Souls wins that little battle right there, and the 4th inning is over. Heading to the 5th, you're listening to the Baycats and the Red Sox. Baycats up 4-1 here on Baycats TV and on the Baycats Radio Network. Someone just won a bunch of prizes. Don't know what they were. Was focusing on my notes, but I'm sure they were great prizes. The prize code, I think, ended in a 3. Jake Wilson leading things off. Hits one to left field. Moving over and making the catch is Brantford Red Sox left fielder Roger Keane, who will be leading off next inning, 1 away. And with that batter, Bennett Moore has now gone longer in this start than he did in his last one. He went 4 innings in his last one, gave up 5 runs. So continuing into this one deeper than he did last time. Here's Noel McGarry Doyle. Big swing and a miss. This inning brought to you by ITEL Paving. For all of your residential, commercial, and industrial paving needs, providing quality service for over 37 years because you deserve the best. Count 0-1 to Noel McGarry Doyle. Outside. Or no, that one's going to get the strike zone. 0-2. Seems like that zone on the outside part of the plate to left-handed hitters is getting a little bit bigger. Count 0-2. Big swing and a miss, and it's a 3-pitch strikeout. You don't see very many 3-pitch strikeouts from Noel McGarry Doyle, but he just did not see the ball well on that at-bat. Second strikeout of the night for him, and that'll bring up Malik Williams. So here is Williams. Third at-bat of the game. Takes a strike. Bennett Moore locating really, really well this inning. And that's something the Red Sox will have been looking for him to do for quite a while now. Williams behind that one, and it's fouled back 1-1. The Red Sox have really not had the season they were hoping for to this point. Entered today 0-11. The 0-2. Just inside. Count 1-2. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, Hamilton still leads Kitchener 3-1. London has extended their lead over Guelph 3-0. Big swing and a miss. Malik Williams strikes out, and suddenly Bennett Moore is kind of on a roll. It's a 1-2-3 inning here in the 5th. We had 2 to the bottom of the 5th, still 4-1 Baycats. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Baycats fans, the Baycats will be hosting their annual golf tournament on August 18th at Innisbrook Golf Course. The Baycats are opening up to fans this year. If you're interested, please go to the front office for more information or go to barriebaycats.com to sign up. Evan Souls pitches up and away to Roger Keane, the left fielder, who's leading things off here in the 5th inning. Game moving on along at a nice pace right now. Pitch down low. Both Souls and the Brantford starter Bennett Moore working really quickly through this one, through most of it anyway. Pitch from Souls to Keane is up high. It was a 1-2-3 inning for both these pitchers in their last half innings. So We'll see if that continues. In the last one, it was a ground out, a strikeout looking, and then a fly out. Here's pitch to Keane, right in the middle of the strike zone on the 3-0 pitch, and it is 3-1. Jesse Fishbaum is on deck. Here's the 3-1. And that is ball 4. So it will not be a 1-2-3 inning.
Now batting center fielder number 20, Jesse Fishbaum.
Second walk of the day for Evan Souls. The first one ended up scoring, though. Here's Jesse Fishbaum. It's interesting. Troy Banks hit that big double in the first inning. Did not end up scoring on the big double, but did end up scoring on the walk. Runner going, Keane. It's a swung on and foul tipped right back into the glove. But the stolen base attempt will not be allowed to stick because it's a foul ball. So Fishbaum goes back to first base. So Brantford's coach coming out to decide whether Fishbaum should be let go to second base or sticking around at first. Umpires, all three of them going to talk about it. It looked like a foul tip into the glove, which means Fishbaum, I would think, would have to go back to first base. If it's a swing and a miss, he'd be allowed to go to second on the stolen base, which he would have gone in without challenge. But if it was a foul tip, you'd think he'd have to go back to first, right? So all three umpires talking about it. It's taking a lot of time for something that seems fairly simple, I would have said. And at some point, this starts to affect Evan Souls' rhythm on the mound. This should be a foul ball. At least from what I saw, unless I'm missing something. And that means Roger Keane would have to go back to first base. And now we're taking a lot of time, which means Tyler Plumpton's going to go back out to the mound and talk to Souls during this break. And I understand you want to make sure it's correct, but it's also taking quite a lot of time, and Souls has been pitching on a nice rhythm throughout today. So the umpires are going to let Roger Keane go to second. Josh Matlow going out there, and I'm not sure how they could have possibly come to that conclusion. It seemed like a foul ball to me. Josh Matlow talking to the umpires, seeing why Roger Keane would be allowed to go to second base on what was pretty clearly a foul ball. So Matlow giving the explanation to Andrew White. So I might have to talk to the Brantford broadcast booth to see if they saw anything different than what I saw, but I certainly thought it was a foul ball, which means Keane would have had to stay at first, but he's standing at second. That is going to be a bunt, popped up. Plumpton makes the catch, and there is one away. So Fishbaum pops up, but Roger Keane stands on second. And I won't pretend I'm not fairly close to the Brantford broadcast booth right now. I can kind of hear what they're saying, but I can't hear what conclusion they've come to, so I'm going to have to talk to them about it. Evan Souls pitching to Troy Banks, and that one's up over his head. Banks ducks and gets out of the way, 1-0. Roger Keane taking the lead off second base. Kicks, throws, and that one is fouled away. Can't 1-1. Yeah, the second baseman, Owen Jansen, playing near to the bag. Shortstop, Carson Burns, playing traditional shortstop defense. And then the first and third baseman also playing normally. That 1-1 pitch is up high, 2-1. I'm really curious on what conclusion they came to there that allowed Keane to steal that base because it was on a foul ball, right? I guess they called it a swinging strike. I'm looking at the point streak right now, and they're saying swinging strike, which and I don't want to be dismissive, but last I heard swinging strikes didn't sound like contact. 3 balls, 1 strike. Souls ready on the mound. Upstairs, and that is ball 4. So Banks walks, and there are runners on first and second with 1 out. And I realize I could say that and be seen as kind of like mad about it or disappointed about it, but no, I'm more just curious than anything else because it's not something I've seen before. And if it's something I'm missing, I'd like to learn it. I'm being 100% genuine with that because, baseball has a lot of rules and you think you know all of them, but clearly the umpires came to a conclusion there and all of them agreed to it, and clearly there's something I'm missing, but I just want to know what it is, So Banks walks, and that'll bring up John DeZomba. Meeting on the mound, Andrew White going out to talk to Evan Souls, the pitcher, with 2 on and 1 out. Home plate umpire coming out and is going to break that up in about 1 step. Fielders return to their defensive positions. Andrew White heading back to the dugout. Tyler Plumpton heading back behind the plate. John DeZomba heading back to the batter's box. In the Baycats half of this inning, it will be, or the next inning rather, it will be James Anderson, Tyler Plumpton, and Carson Burns. Souls ready, kicks, throws, and that is a strike. Gano 1. DeZomba has grounded out and singled in this game. Stands now, though, with a runner in scoring position for the second time today. Big swing and a miss. And that is strike 2. Kind of walking away from the batter's box if he struck out, but it just needed a few extra steps to give himself a second to reset. Fifth inning, 4-1, Brantford over Barrie. Runners taking the lead, bigger lead off second than on first. Evan Souls strikes out John DeZomba. DeZomba doesn't like the call, looks back at home plate, says it's outside. But the umpire is going to win that argument, and there are 2 away.
Catcher number 18, Colton Fountain.
So here is Colton Fountain. Fountain 0 for 2. Runners on first and second, though, for the cleanup hitter for the Red Sox. Pitch in there for a strike. Souls' pitch is just up high, and the count is even at 1. Fountain this season is hitting .230. He doesn't have a home run, but he does have 3 RBI. There's just a little bit inside, 2-1. The left side of the plate, from Tyler Plumpton's perspective behind the plate, has been different whether there's a left-hander or a right-hander at the plate in terms of what's called a strike, because that would have been a strike against a lefty hitter, but it wasn't against the righty. Big swing and a miss, and the count is even at 2. So a big strike here. And just to reset it for you, the Baycats up 4-1 here in the 5th inning. There are 2 out, but there are also 2 runners on base, a runner on first and a runner on second. The runner on second is Roger Keane. Runner on first is Troy Banks. Pitched by Evan Souls is a 2-2 ball. Gets away from Plumpton. Throw to second is caught by Burns. Tag applied, but it's late. So Banks and Keane both steal. It's a double steal on a ball that gets away from Plumpton. Count full at 3-2, and if that was a big pitch before, oh man, it's even bigger now. 3-2 the count. Runners on second and third. Souls kicks, throws, and it is fouled away.
Foul right side. No car, so that remains at 1. Those are scary though in Georgia.
Colton Fountain represents the tying run at the plate right now. As we can kind of see from my perspective in the booth from a scoreboard that's very similar to the one at Vintage Throne Stadium if you're trying to visualize it. Here's the 3-2. And that is ball 4 up high. And it's going to be a bases loaded, 2-out scenario for Liam Sutherland. Evan Souls still out there. The bases are loaded with 2 out. It's a 4-1 Baycats lead here in the 5th. Evan Souls kicks, throws, and his first pitch swinging fouled away. Kind of see to our right that there are other leagues playing games at the other diamonds around here. At least one other diamond. I don't know if there are a few more. Pitch from Souls. Up high, 1-1. This, to this point, is the at-bat of the ball game right now. Evan Souls. Liam Sutherland. On the ground, right to Souls, flips it to first, and that'll end the inning. The Baycats still have a 4-1 lead. The Red Sox load the bases, but cannot score. Heading to the 6th inning, it is still 4-1 Barrie Baycats. You're watching the Red Sox and the Baycats right here on Baycats TV and on the Baycats Radio Network. James Anderson leading things off here in the 6th inning. Sixth inning brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. The Canadian Brew House, our house is your house. Patrick Melbourne with you. First pitch inside to James Anderson. Just want to mention the good job that Reese Dumaney and Colin Ward are doing as part of the Brantford media team.
Really, Wardy?
First 2 pitches balls to Anderson. 2 balls, no strikes. It'll be Anderson and then Tyler Plumpton and Carson Burns. 2-0 is a strike, 2-1. Was just telling in the break there to Reese and Colin that, you know, Bennett Moore may be giving up a lot of walks early on in this season, but you can certainly see the talent is there, as that one's inside and it's 3-1. Bennett Moore just missing inside an awful lot. When he's not missing inside, he's pitching well. That one is fouled away. Anderson with Moore with a couple of strikeouts in the last half inning. But has already hit a couple of batters with a pitch. including Anderson, who's been pitched inside a lot today. 3-2 coming up. Up the middle. Nice play at second, but it's going to get through. What an effort, but James Anderson's got himself a single. Troy Banks, who's had a nice game on both sides of the ball. Been on base 3 times today, showing off the glove a little bit there. Didn't quite get to that ball, but really made a good effort and almost got a ball that looked like it would be a sure single. That said, it was a single, so James Anderson stands on first for the 3rd time today. He's been hit by a pitch and walked. And that one's way inside to Tyler Plumpton. And, you know, this is a Baycats team that bunts a fair bit, but Bennett Moore has missed inside a lot today. And Tyler Plumpton was nearly hit on the helmet with that pitch. Plumpton has a single and is grounded into a double play. Shows bunt again, inside and high again. And Bennett Moore's command that he looked good on last inning has not returned this inning. Couple inside pitches to Anderson, couple inside pitches to Plumpton. And if they continue, I mean, I know they're not intentional. This is a guy that walks a lot of batters. That one's nowhere close. 3-0.
I don't know how men don't call that a strike. He literally just gave up a strike.
Plumpton just taking a lot of inside pitches, and I think he got the call of a ball there. And the reason why you might see umpires call those borderline pitches in an at-bat like this balls when they might just have gotten the strike zone is you've got to earn your strikes. Last pitch was in there for a strike, 3-1. Plumpton shows bunt. It's ball 4. And there are 2 base runners on for the Baycats. And when I say you got to earn your strikes, you have to establish the strike zone, and you have to go back to it every inning, or else umpires aren't going to give you borderline calls. It happens on every team when there's a pitcher who hasn't established the strike zone and gotten those calls. Sometimes you need to earn them a little bit, and Tyler Plumpton benefited from Bennett Moore not earning the strike zone in that at-bat. Here's the pitch to Carson Burns, hit to left center field. That one is on its way. No, it's going to get caught in left field. A nice play in left by Roger Keane, and there is one away. So here's Brad McQuinn. Anderson and Plumpton did not move up on the play. They remain at first and second as Keane got that ball in really quickly. Fans, Baycats Shop is your one-stop shop for all things Baycats. From jerseys, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, and fan gear, Baycats Shop has it all. Visit shopbaycats.com today or follow us on Instagram at shopbaycats. And you can get that Baycats merch even if you're not local to Barrie. There's a strike going 1. Wonder if there are any Baycats fans in the Brantford area watching their team. At Arnold Anderson Stadium tonight, it's been a good one. The sun is completely set now. It's not dark, but there's no sun. This game was delayed just short of 20 minutes because of a sun delay. You see that fairly often in Brantford. That's why the games are scheduled so late. Count 0-1. Colton Fountain has gone out to the mound to Bennett Moore. Gives him a message, now comes back behind the plate. Brad McQuinn in his first start as a Baycat is 0-2 so far. Oh, 1. Runners don't go, and the pitch is outside, and he's really been missing outside this inning. Count 1-1. And the scouting report on Moore has been to go deep into at-bats. This is a guy who walks a lot of batters. Has some command issues. 1-1. And that is hit to left field. Keane makes the catch, moves over, and makes a nice play. It was hit almost right to him, but he had to move a couple of steps to be able to make the good catch. Roger Keane with 2 catches in the outfield and left field in this inning, and there are 2 on now with 2 outs. And there might not have been anybody in this Baycats order as good at extending at-bats against pitchers not having good command is Brendan Cawley this year. Pitch down low, 1-0. Cawley leads the team in walks, came into the last game with 6. I believe he still has 6. Cawley's been a good ad for the Baycats at third base this season. Get 1-0. And there's a strike. Baycats fans have seen Marcel Lacasse a lot at third base over the last couple of years. Lacasse currently playing in the Frontier League. So Cawley, the third baseman, essentially ever since then. A couple of games of Adam Odd there. That one's inside. It hits Cawley on the side. It was a fastball. It hurt. Cawley on his knees beside the plate just for a moment, gathering his stuff, and now Josh Matlow had to help him and maybe wonder how many batters Bennett Moore's going to be allowed to pitch inside to. I know they're not intentional, but there comes a point when there's a lot of hit-by pitches. And I think that meaning more than anything is just to give Brendan Cawley some time, because these are not intentional. It's just Bennett Moore has had some serious command issues this season. Bennett Moore has just had a real problem pitching inside to the right-handed hitter, and you can see the point from Josh Matlow that, this is a lot of hitters that they're going inside to, but at the same time, he's walked so many hitters that it's just so hard to see any of this being intentional, especially considering this is his first time facing the Baycats this season. Kicks, throws, and that's hit to right. Way back there. On its way. Gone. Oh, no, off the wall. Called it a little early. Could be 3, though. Throw comes home. Brendan Cawley comes home and scores. Are they saying it's a home run? A lot happened right there. It ended up with everybody scoring. It looks like the ball went into the dugout, and even though I was a little early on the gone call, it does end up being a home run. And the Baycats have extended their lead with a grand slam.
So promising for Bennett Moore after allowing the first 2 to score, getting the next 2 out.
I'm sorry for the early home run call, even though it did end up being a home run. As that is just inside. I kind of lost it in the lights and thought it went over. But it ended up being a home run anyway. First pitch up and away. So the score is 8-1 Baycats. Bennett Moore, who's had some good innings today, just has not extended that to this inning at all. There are 2 outs, though, facing off against Jake Wilson. Cat now 1-0. And the scoreboard was slow while I was changing my notes. That was actually the 3-0 pitch, and it is inside for ball 4, so another mistake on me. Baycats not making very many mistakes, though, and it's a walk with 2 outs for Noel McGarry-Doyle. Coach coming out to talk to Bennett Moore, who has just lost the strike zone in this inning. And when he's found the strike zone, the ball's been hit hard. That home run might have been an inside the park home run, but it just missed being a normal one. First inside the park home run I can remember the Baycats hitting since Jake Wilson did in the opener last season. And man, I thought that one was gone. Noel McGarry-Doyle standing in. Up and away. And Bennett Moore, excuse me if you've heard this one before, but he misses up and away to a left-handed hitter, which means it would have been inside to a righty. Can't 1-0. That's it off the end of the bat, left side, but it's going to go well foul. McGarry Doyle this season hitting .408. And that's not a small sample size. He's 20 for 49. Owen Jansen hitting a inside the park home run has been the difference this inning. It's now 8-1 for the Barrie Baycats. Kicks, throws, and that's a strike. That was a bit of a borderline call. Baycats dugout, does not love it. Count 1-2.
Very true, very true. I guess, yeah, the way you're seeing that block is the locations on the block.
1-2. And that is inside, gets away from the catcher a little bit, but he gathers it before Wilson can extend his base running advantage from first to second, so he remains on first. Here's the pitch. Runner does go, and that one gets away from Colton Fountain, so Wilson rounds second. He's going to go all the way to third. Jake Wilson makes it to third after the ball gets away from Colton Fountain. And Wilson, who was at first, is now not only in scoring position, but stands at third base with 2 out. Count 2-2. Noel McGarry Doyle standing back in against Bennett Moore. Kicks, throws, and that is inside. And Bennett Moore has walks another. That is his. That's a lot of walks. I couldn't tell you just by glancing at my scoreboard. I'm looking here at Point Street. That's his 6th walk, I believe, of the afternoon. And Bennett Moore, that'll be his final pitch of the evening. At times, he pitched really well tonight. At times, there was hard contact, and at times, there were inside pitches to right-handed hitters. And I don't think it will be overall an outing to remember. Back in a moment with the new pitcher info. You're listening to Barrie Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. New pitcher for the Brantford Red Sox is Hayden Stamm, wearing number 19. Lefty pitcher, first lefty of the day for the Red Sox. Second pitcher, and the other one was a righty. So Noel McGarry Doyle going on the first pitch and steals it without any problem at all. So the first pitch, Malik Williams is a strike, 0-1. Now is a runner in scoring position. Kicks, throws, and that one's inside. It was not the outing that Bennett Moore was hoping for. I miscounted, by the way, 5 walks, but gave up 7 runs, 5 hits. There's 7 earned runs, 8 total, and that one goes behind Williams. Just did get a piece, and because it did, Wilson will have to stay at third base.
No way.
Malik Williams hit with a pitch, and
So he will take first base.
the Baycats will bat around in the inning.
Anderson will step into the box.
Now batting left fielder, number 34, James Anderson.
Already 4 in here in the 6th for the Baycats.
Sixth inning, and
8 runs.
that one goes behind James Anderson, who's already been hit with a pitch today and walked on some pitches that were really inside. So
Control being an issue for Stam here early on.
here's the pitch to Stam, and it's outside.
More than trouble with. And the other thing, he has scored like 5 points in the ball game, but
Stam enters today with an ERA over 11, so we won't mention much else. Just he's hoping that this will be his best outing of the season. That one's hit to the left side. That one's on its way. That one's off the wall. The fence kept it in. 1 run is in. Malik Williams goes to third, and it's a double for James Anderson. He has a single and a double in the inning,
double digits. It's
and it is 10-1.
Now batting the catcher, number 34, Tyler Plumpton.
bad to worse for the Brantford Red Sox. Like we said, Bennett Moore, 1 pitch,
2 runs score on the double. That's Wilson and McGarry Doyle.
now 6 are in.
And Malik Williams stands on third. James Anderson stands on second. There are still 2 runners in scoring position for Tyler Plumpton, who walked in his first at-bat. And the Brantford Red Sox season to this point has just not gone the way they were hoping. And tonight it's 10-1 for the Baycats. Here's the pitch from Stam, and it's outside. Brantford actually made some roster moves a few days ago. Yesterday, actually, they released a couple of players, Junior Jan-Baptiste and Shamil Ubiera. And then they signed 4 players, 3 infielders, and a pitcher/infielder, and Troy Banks, who has made an immediate impact. Nolan Gallagher, Hunter James, and Garrett Larner, who's also in the lineup today. So it's a bit of a different looking lineup for Brantford. Pitch coming in, the 1-2 count, and that ball is hit to the left side, and that one's going to get through. Malik Williams scores. James Anderson was rounding third, but is going to have to stay there. It's a base hit, and now it's 11-1.
All the way, but
Now batting shortstop, number 3, Carson Burns.
Ross is now 11-1.
It's a single for Plumpton. His 3rd time on base today, and that'll bring up Carson Burns, who was the first out of this inning. But since then, only one other hitter has gotten out.
7 2-out runs.
Burns has a double.
That's 6.
Baycats have 7 runs in this inning. Pitch upstairs to Carson Burns. Kicks and throws. Outside. Same spot where Bennett Moore was missing all day. Baycats won the last game 11-4 versus Hamilton. I've scored 11 again tonight.
Anderson runner at third. Plumpton is at first.
And there's a strike, and it is 1-1. Owen Jansen just missed a home run in this inning the traditional way, and then ended up coming around for a inside the park home run. Pitch fouled away. It's 1-2. Just glancing over at the bullpen, looks like there's some action for the Baycats. Perhaps Brad Grieveson. And that pitch is over the head of Carson Burns. And the fact I say that so casually just tells you how bad the command has been for Brantford tonight. It has just not been their pitching throwing strikes. And that means you can't establish the zone, which means you won't get the close pitches like we saw with the first Plumpton at-bat. That's hit to left center field. That's going to score a run. It's 12-1 Baycats. Burns with a single. It scores James Anderson. And the Baycats add one more. It is 12-1.
Now batting right field, 47, Brad McQuinn.
Plumpton up to second base on the hit by Burns. Brad McQuinn stands in for his fourth at-bat. He's 0 for 3 today. Flew out earlier on in this inning.
Still 2 outs. Top of 6, 12-1 Baycats.
This game has reached the 2-hour points as that one is outside. 1-0.
Takes the first pitch for the ball.
Checking the out-of-town scoreboard, Hamilton, as that ball's upstairs. Hamilton is up 5-1 over the Kitchener Panthers in their game. London up 5-0 over the Guelph Royals in their game. 2-0. And that one's fouled away. Brad McQuinn is the only batter in this lineup who's not reached base tonight, and he would really like to change that.
Barring a comeback by the Red Sox. Yeah.
Kicks, throws, the lefty comes home, and it is outside, 3-1.
Heads up for everyone. Tomorrow night, while the Jackets are in town, we will have no live stream for you, unfortunately, as I'm headed up to Barrie at beautiful 5:30 in the morning.
3-1 the count. Kicks, throws, and that is up and in, and that is ball forward, which means all 9 Baycats batters have now reached base.
Here for the Baycats and hitting around here.
Base is loaded.
Brendan Paul now into the box.
Brandon Colley was hit by a pitch for the second time today. Earlier on in the 6th, as the first pitch is in there for a strike to him. And Colley, that second hit by pitch, looked painful. 0-1. Hit off the end of the bat, left side, but foul.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It's first place Welland coming into town.
So Brad McQuinn on first, Carson Burns on second, Tyler Plumpton on third. Baycats now up 12-1.
You're short arms.
Kicks, throws, and that one is up and away. So another ball by Brantford pitching. Here it is. And that is hard hit, but very foul. Out near the cars, and it appears that this is yet another of the IBL parks where you want to be parking far away, because those foul balls can get pretty close to the cars over in the right field side. Here it is, and it's out. No, that one's strike 3. Colley down on strikes, and that finally ends the 6th inning. But the Barrie Baycats are now up 12-1, heading to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to the Baycats Radio Network and watching on Baycats TV. New pitcher for the Barrie Baycats is Adam Kahn. He's pitched really well this season, a 3.97 ERA. I was talking to Josh Matlow after the game a couple of games ago about how Kahn has really become one of the better bullpen options for the team. First pitch to Spencer Jameson is inside for a ball. This is his 5th game of the year. Started a couple, more like opened a couple, which is not to diminish what he's done in any way. He's been one of their best pitchers, and he's done a lot to help Josh Matlow on the mound. Pitch just catches the strike zone, 1-1. Baycats 12, Red Sox 1, in another game for the Brantford Red Sox that has not gone the way they've wanted it to. It has just been high-scoring game and high-scoring game as that one is hit to the right center field side. Moving over is the center fielder Jake Wilson. He makes the catch, and there is one away. But the thing is, the high-scoring games have all been the opposing teams against the Red Sox, so not what they're looking for. And you do hope that the Red Sox will look a little bit different over the next few games and the next few seasons, because it's such a historic IBL franchise, and you know that they won't be losing like this for very long. Big swing and a miss. And eventually they'll get into a better streak, but it hasn't happened yet. 0-1 to Garrett Larner. Pitch upstairs. So Spencer Jameson flew out to Jake Wilson in center field. This is Garrett Larner, the third baseman, second batter of the inning, facing off against Adam Kahn, who warmed up a couple times in that game yesterday against Hamilton. Big swing and a miss, making it 1-2. He warmed up a couple of times just in case Juan Benitez couldn't get out of innings, but he ended up getting out of the innings that Josh Matlow needed him to get out of, so he ended up not having to come in. So that means he's fresh for today. Maybe he could go the rest of the way. 1-2. And that is strike 3. Tyler Plumpton gives it the tag just in case, but he wasn't running to first. Garrett Larner down on strikes. Here's Evan Ryan. Evan Ryan 0 for 2, strikeout and flyout. This is still only the third time through the Brantford order. That tells you how good the Baycats pitching has been. Evan Souls only gave up the 1 run, went 5 innings, did exactly what Josh Matlow wanted out of him, and now Adam Kahn can come in and give them some innings out of the pen. The 1-0. Down low, 2-0. Here in the 6th inning, Baycats up 12-1. There are 2 outs after a fly up by Spencer Jameson, a strikeout by Garrett Larner, 2 quick outs for Adam Kahn. It's a 2-0 count to Evan Ryan, the DH. And it's a 3-0 count to Evan Ryan, the DH. The wind has essentially stopped, which is interesting considering how strong it was earlier on. Count 3-0.
3 balls, no strikes here to Evan Ryan, designated hitter.
Righty-righty matchup, here it is. And that is going to be a 4-pitch walk from Adam Kahn to Evan Ryan. So the Brantford Red Sox get their first base runner of the inning.
Now left fielder number 14, Roger Key.
So here's Roger Keane. Left fielder, wears number 14, facing off against Adam Kahn from Innisville, Ontario. In his first season with the Baycats. And between him, Evan Souls, Aiden Russell, a lot of young arms in this Baycats bullpen, pitching well lately. Aiden Russell still has a 0 ERA this season. Just been unbelievable. And then Brandon Hillier and Chris Cox also pitching well. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss, 0-2. Keane walked his last time up and stole a base. That was that play where I kind of didn't know what was going on because it looked like a foul ball from our perspective. 0-2. And that is strike 3. Roger Keane down on strikes. Adam Kahn with a couple of strikeouts in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th. It is 12-1 for the Barrie Baycats. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Jansen with an 0-1 count against Sean Hood Tidman, the third pitcher for the Brantford Red Sox. Was just talking. I believe we were having a technical difficulty a moment ago, so I apologize for that. Jansen technically tripled in his last at-bat, but that's not as much fun as saying he hit an inside-the-park home run. He went all the way across the bases or around the bases and then scored in the same at-bat. So it's technically an inside-the-park home run. Sorry if you missed that on our technical issue. 1-1, count to Owen Jansen from Sean Hood Tidman, the third pitcher of the day for Brantford after Bennett Moore and Hayden Stem. Brantford looking for a good pitching performance. Sean Hood Tidman has an ERA over 16. 2-1 coming up. Pitch outside. Was talking to Reese Dumani and between innings about Sean Hood Tidman. Said he had a lot of movement when he's on. Reese, the play-by-play guy, along with Colin Ward with the Brantford Red Sox. 2-2. Big swing and a miss. Jansen down on strikes.
He is down on strikes for the first out.
Sean Hood Tidman, a former member of the London Majors. He pitched for them in 2019.
Little League home run.
Now batting center fielder number 15, Jake Wilson.
Went to Western Nebraska Community College,
Outfield
originally from Stratford, Ontario.
barely, but it did.
Joined the team in February of this year. So Jansen down on strikes to open up the 7th. That'll bring up Jake Wilson.
Jake Wilson in the box for the Baycats. 12-1 ball game. Barrie leads it. The Brantford Red Sox go on a 3-3 and a 4-game week. Started off in Hamilton,
1-0. Wilson fouls it right back.
which was a makeup game.
The Brantford Red Sox, who
Of course, in Wellington,
are yet to win a game
Barrie, and then tomorrow night,
this season so far,
Jackfish to town for the first time.
lost the last game 19-5, then the one before that 19-0, then the one before that 14-0, and then the one before that 11-2. So we won't go any farther behind that, but we can tell you that they've been struggling. So, barring a comeback, the score looks very similar to that right now. It is 12-1 Baycats. It's never impossible in baseball, as Brantford fans will want to remind themselves right now, but it is going to be very difficult as the Baycats have had a really, really nice game at the plate. It is 3-1 now to Jake Wilson as the pitch is outside. And the Baycats offense has really been rolling these last few games. Had that big offensive game against Hamilton. Baycats really optimistic about this road trip that began with this game as that one's up and away. It is
To Jake Wilson.
a walk for Jake Wilson with 1 out.
In the 7th.
Now batting designated hitter number 95, Noel Gary Doyle.
Baycats road trip continues after this game on the 19th against London. That's on Father's Day, June 19th. And then they'll face Guelph on the 21st before coming back home on the 23rd to face Kitchener. The next time they face Brantford, and again, it's only the first time they face Brantford this year, the next time will be on July 2nd. McGarry Doyle grounds it foul. So they haven't seen Brantford very much in the first half, and they won't see them for a little while after this.
Yeah, give you guys a pass.
7th inning, by the way, brought to you by Firehouse Subs, Barrie and Aurelia. Only top quality, freshly sliced meats and cheeses piled high on toasty hot rolls. By Subs, save lives. 0-1 pitch is outside, 1-1. Fly ball, deep center field, moving over and making the play in left center field is Jesse Fishbaum for the 2nd out of the inning.
Nice play.
Now batting first baseman number 28, Malik Williams.
So here's Malik Williams.
Yeah, when you play the fact of the win here tonight, it makes it even worse.
Malik Williams standing in, right-handed hitter against the right-handed Sean Hood Tidman. And the first pitch is a strike. Or no, excuse me, it's just a little bit high for a ball, 1-0. Sean Hood Tidman
Ball game, yeah.
in his first inning of work here. Here's the pitch, and it is inside, 2-0.
And when you get into a situation like this, where guys are asking about balls and strikes on more than one occasion.
Malik Williams in his 2nd game with the Barrie Baycats. You might be noticing it's a little quiet around Arnold Anderson Stadium right now, and that's because in a 12-1 game, a whole lot of people have left. There's a strike, 2-1. There were fans all the way across the stands behind the plate when this game started, and a whole lot of them have left. So, yet another game that hasn't gone the way Brantford's wanted. As that one's inside, 3-1. And the Baycats say, thank you very much. The Baycats came in treating this like any other game because that's what you have to do. And that's what every opponent against Brantford should do, because in baseball, anything can happen. 3-1. Ground ball, left side, foul. Not only can Brantford go on a hot streak at any point, you also don't want to play badly, even against a team you expect to not necessarily be the team at the top of the standings.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Remember, first going to get a head start.
Count full, 2 out. Here's the pitch to Malik Williams from Sean Hood Tidman. Pitch hit to right center field. That one's going pretty deep, but moving over and making the catch is the right fielder, Liam Sutherland, to retire the side. Baycats get a base runner, but do not score. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 12-1 Barrie. You're listening on the Baycats Radio Network and watching on Baycats TV. Couple substitutions for the Barrie Baycats. We return to the bottom of the 7th inning. I guess we're entering the bottom of the 7th inning. We're returning to the feed on Baycats Radio and Baycats TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Patrick Melbourne here with you. It's 12-1 Baycats. Max Loishko on the mound, coming in as the 3rd pitcher of the day for the Barrie Baycats. You expect Loishko to maybe pitch a couple innings. First pitch was a ball, second pitch was a strike, so it is even at 1-1. Loishko, a guy who comes in situations similar to this. Starting to see more time with the Baycats and starting to pitch a little bit more into the Baycats' plans. Pitching well. Max Loishko, not the only substitution for the Baycats in this inning. Michael Chiquetto has also taken over at first base.
1-2-3.
1-2. Foul back to the screen. I think it actually hit inside the dugout rather than the screen. Much different sound when it goes into the dugout versus when it hits off against the bottom of the fence there. Righty-righty matchup. Jesse Fishbaum at the plate. And Fishbaum swings and misses through that one, and he's down on strikes.
Now batting second baseman number 28, Troy Banks.
So here's Troy Banks. And for all of the things that haven't gone right this season for Brantford, Troy Banks in his third game
One of the bright spots here
has been excellent. He's reached base all 3 times. He also reached base twice with a couple of hits in that game Brantford played against Hamilton on June 14th. Also reached base with a hit by pitch on the game against Welland. So he's been on base on every game so far with the Brantford Red Sox. First couple of pitches in. One was a ball, one was a strike. Now a third one in, and that one is fouled. Goes onto the field to play, but it was fouled before that, so it's 1-2. And Troy Banks looks like a guy who could be a top of the order bat in this league, the way he's played. Red Sox certainly hope so. A couple of walks and a double today. Loishko's got his sign. Plumpton sets it up, now comes home, and the big swing and a miss. Banks down on strikes, and Loishko having one of his better outings with the Baycats so far this season. At least to this point, 2 strikeouts. And now John DeZomba standing in.
Give up that big hitting and immediately you're out of the game. Just not in it anymore.
Loishko ready. DeZomba ready, and he swings at the first pitch and fouls it high and back out of play.
Ducks his head out of the booth here.
DeZomba struck out his last time up, but has a single today, also has a ground out.
Zamba has had a good night tonight, despite the 3-pitch strikeout his last at bat. He's hit the ball hard.
0-1 coming up.
That's 1 for 3 in total.
Here it is, and it is outside.
0-1 is downstairs and outside.
We thank you for listening to this game on Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. We've had, looks like 370 people throughout the evening. Patrick Melbourne here with you. Count 1-1 and a big swing and a miss from John DeZomba, so the count is 1-2. Baycats currently lead 12-1. We're here in the 7th inning with 2 out. Max Loishko's come in and struck out the first 2 batters he's faced.
Top of the, or bottom of the 7th inning.
Count 1-2 to John DeZomba.
1-2.
And that's hit off the end of the bat. Foul, left side. Fans, Baycats tickets are now available for every game at Vintage Throne Stadium this season. Head to barrybaycats.com/tickets to buy online or find a location close to you to find deals today. 1-2 coming up from the side armor, Max Loishko, and it is outside 2-2.
Outside.
So the count even at 2. Loishko, the 3rd pitcher of the night for Barrie after Evan Souls and Adam Kahn. Loishko last pitched on June 12th against Guelph in that game that did not go the Baycats' way.
Waits on deck. See if he gets a chance here this inning.
Pitch outside, so the count full.
John DeZomba.
Loishko from Barrie
For the Brantford Red Sox.
stands at 6'5" on the mound. He's tall and has that deceptive sidearm delivery. 3-2. Hit to first base. Chiquetto can't handle it, but backing him up is the second baseman. Owen Jansen gives it to Loishko, who gives a high five to Chiquetto. It was a tough play, but the Barrie Baycats defense got the job done. Heading to the 8th inning, 12-1. Barrie is on top. You're watching on Baycats TV and listening on Baycats Radio.
strike.
James Anderson leading things off in the 8th inning. Sean Hood-Tidman back on the hill.
We were rolling through 5 innings.
Pitch to Anderson is popped up into foul territory. Moving over is the first baseman for the Brantford Red Sox. That's Spencer Jamison, and he makes the play, one away. So Tyler Plumpton will bat. Fans, the newly redesigned BarrieBaycats.com features more highlights, more game day info, and more about your team. Head to BarrieBaycats.com now to get the whole game day experience. So Plumpton bats now.
Tyler Plumpton, catcher.
Has been on base 3 of 4 times tonight. The other one was a double play. First pitch, a strike to him, 0-1. The 0-1. And that is a strike, 0-2. Just got the inside part of the strike zone. Count 0-2 to Tyler Plumpton. One out here in the top of the 8th inning. Kicks, throws, and that one hits him. Plumpton throws away the bat in anger because this is... He's seen a lot of inside pitches today. We'll say that. So Tyler Plumpton, who has been hit by a pitch, unbelievably, for the first time today. He was sure pitched inside a lot. He walked and has a couple of base hits. And now he'll face off against Carson Burns. So every pitcher for the Brantford Red Sox has hit at least one batter. Count 1-0 to Carson Burns, the shortstop. 1-0 to Burns, way outside, and it is 2-0. Carson Burns had a nice night, been on base a couple of times, had a big double in that first inning. Baycats scored 3 runs in that first inning, and it was actually close for a while after that. The Baycats didn't get out to a big lead until the 6th, where they batted around. Added one more in the 7th. And that is launched right side. It's going to stay in the park and stay fair. Carson Burns is going to have himself extra bases. He has a double. Tyler Plumpton over to third. And that is going to be a double for Carson Burns. So Burns with a double. And now it'll be Mike DeWin pinch hitting for Barrie. So DeWin taking his first at bat. He's pinch hitting for Brad McQuinn.
That's a Delhi style right there.
That's inside. DeWin joined the team for the first time last season. Has been seeing more playing time this year. Had his first game at home this year. The 1-0 coming up. And that one's up and in. And he joins the number of Baycats hitters today that have seen a pitch that almost hit him.
Yeah, I remember that night at the time, Don taking care of
The 2-0.
general manager.
Up and in. And it's 3-0.
Giving us some rundown. Yeah, we're short guys. Had to grab this dude.
So Mike DeWin
Give him a tryout. Immediately made him.
has a 3-0 count. Runners on second and third, and that is a 4-pitch walk to Mike DeWin.
DeWin will take a 4-pitch walk.
So the second walk of the inning, and that'll bring up Brendan Cawley.
Now batting third base at number 17, Brendan Cawley.
So DeWin on first. Carson Burns on second. Tyler Plumpton on third. And the Baycats have yet again loaded the bases with one out this time against Sean Hood-Tidman and the Brantford Red Sox. Sean Hood-Tidman's ERA for this season is up over 16. Not where he wants it to be, and he's a talented pitcher. He can get it lower, but it just hasn't gone his way. That's a strike, 0-1 to Brendan Cawley. You look at what Sean Hood-Tidman has done before coming to the IBL. He's a guy who can have success in this league, but has not had that breakthrough moment yet. 0-1, and that one's inside.
Inside corner, strike zone got a little bit bigger on that one. 1 balls, 2 strikes.
Oh, they called that a strike. I looked down. So it's 0-2. So that's my mistake on that one. I thought it was a ball, but the umpire disagreed with me. Baycats benefit, 0-2. Umpire calls time. Now everybody's back in. Sean Hood-Tidman back ready on the mound. Brendan Cawley ready at the plate. Kicks and throws. And that one's inside. No, that one's strike 3. And this strike zone has gotten a little bit bigger. So that is a strikeout. I said the Baycats benefit. I meant the Red Sox benefit from that. It looked like it was a ball, but it was actually a strike. And then that one also looked like a ball, and it was actually a strike. So Red Sox get a couple of calls in that at-bat.
Owen Jansen, number 9.
And now Owen Jansen.
Still a big spot. Baycats can put some more on the board. This is outside.
I looked down in the middle of that Cawley at-bat, and that second strike, I was sure it was a ball. But the game is not close, and strike zone might be changing just a little bit. You need to keep an eye on that on the mound and at the plate. Sean Hood-Tidman. And it hits Baycats coach Stevens Ultra over at first base. And he looks okay, but it was right off his knee. Looks like he's smiling right now, but man, I would not have wanted to be the one standing there. Stevens okay, though.
Count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Can't 1-1.
Wilson waits on deck.
Kicks and throws. And that is hit into right center field. Not terribly deep. Fish bomb under it. He makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. Baycats still up 12-1. We head to the bottom of the 8th. You're watching on Baycats TV and listening on the Baycats Radio Network. I can't imagine what Fountain was upset with because it's 2-0. So Colton Fountain ejected here in the second after a count that started 2-0, but Fountain ejected in the middle of the at-bat. So Loishko, after a long break, back in there, 2-1. So there's still nobody out in the inning. That was the first batter of the inning, but after 2 strikes, Colton Fountain was ejected in the middle of the at-bat, which was very odd because it started in a 2-0 count, which was very favorable for Colton. Pitch inside, and that is going to be a walk for the pinch hitter, Jacob Lupton. So Liam Sutherland steps in. That was a very odd at-bat. Just to recap, because I think we had a technical issue on Baycats TV. Colton Fountain came up, got a favorable call for ball number 1, took another ball, and then was thrown out in the middle of the at-bat. As that one's grounded fair right or left side through the third baseman, Brennan Colley. Moving from first to third is Lupton. Up to second is the batter Sutherland. And now there's 2 runners in scoring position for the Baycats. So Colton Fountain was ejected in the middle of the at-bat. We have no idea why, but after a lengthy delay, where Max Loishko was just standing there on the mound, Jacob Lupton was brought in to pinch hit, took the walk, and now a double. And Max Loishko, who was pitching extremely well in the 7th, is not pitching as well now, but you have to wonder if that's because he was standing out there for so long. Very odd. And that is a tough bounce off the first base side for Chiquetto. Backing him up is the second baseman, Owen Jansen. Throws on to first, and he makes a great play. Max Loishko covering, and they get the out. So 1-0, or excuse me, a runner's in to make it 12-2. But they get the out at first. Liam. I'm all confused. This is Spencer Jamison now. Or Garrett Larner. I believe it's Garrett Larner. I'm all confused in my scorebook, but the last play was from Spencer Jamison. Grounded to first base, took a really tough bounce for Chiquetto. And then behind him, Owen Jansen did a great job to give it to Max Loishko covering, and they got the out. 2-1 the count to Garrett Larner. All right, we're all caught up now. Sutherland hit the double. Jamison had that ground out, and now Larner standing in. Sometimes it takes a second because so much is going on. 2-2, and that is strike 3. So Garrett Larner down on strikes for the 4th time today. And that'll bring up Evan Ryan. Liam Sutherland is the runner at third. And Colton Fountain was ejected in the middle of the at-bat. So Jacob Lupton came in and walked to finish off that at-bat. He's the one that scored. So now here's Evan Ryan. And that is a strike on a check swing, 0-1. Very eventful inning we've had here. The 0-1's outside. Hope you've enjoyed this on Baycats TV. Trying something a little bit different today. The Baycats Radio has moved over to Baycats TV. And there's a strike, 1-2. Evan Ryan has walked, struck out, and flown out today. On the ground, Carson Burns makes the play, throws all the way across the diamond to Chiquetto at first base, makes the play, and retires the side. So Loishko gives up a run after that very bizarre at-bat, but it's still 12-2 Baycats. We're heading to the 9th inning. You're listening to Baycats Radio and watching on Baycats TV. Jake Wilson coming in to bat in the 9th inning against the new pitcher, Brian Louie.
Possible idea I have is that the Barrie Baycats aren't you to call.
Lefty pitcher comes home, and it's outside to Wilson.
They wanted a strike. They put a strike with the ball, and then maybe
8th and 9th inning brought to you today by Mr. Lawn Care and Landscaping, servicing Simcoe County for all of your landscaping needs.
said something, and then all of a sudden it's a warning, and the next pitch.
1-0 coming up
It moved.
from Louie. Pitch outside.
That's all I can take of, right? Like, what other situation could happen out of that?
Brian Louie actually pitching really, really well. A 1.93 ERA this season in 4 2/3. Has a couple of strikeouts. Facing off against Jake Wilson, who's hitting .297 this season, has a home run. That home run came, I believe, against the Hamilton Cardinals. 2-0. Upstairs, it is 3-0. Brian Louie in his first inning of work, pitching for Sean Hood Tidman.
He was that catcher. Here's a 3-0.
3-0 from the lefties, in there for a strike. Roger Keane, Jesse Fishbaum, and Troy Banks will bat in the bottom of the 9th for the Brantford Red Sox.
Hitters count here for
Top of the order for Jake Wilson. 3-1 coming up. And that one is ball 4.
for ball 4. And that's not even a strike. No, it isn't.
There's been a walk in every inning in this game except the 4th inning and the 5th inning
Well, McGarry Doyle.
for
Red Sox number 39, Brian Louie.
Baycats hitters. Here's Noel McGarry Doyle.
Top of the 9th inning, 12-2 ball game. Baycats lead it over the Red Sox. We used to be here when we called it 4.
That is fouled away.
Doyle fouls first pitch off left side.
McGarry Doyle today has struck out a couple of times, but he's also reached on an error, walked, and flown out. So he's been on base twice.
Sox then more started by 5 2/3.
Every hitter that's come up to the plate today for the Baycats has reached base at least once, including pinch or defensive replacement Mike DeWin.
With the last 2, Brian Louie gets the 9.
0-1. And that one's up over his head.
One upstairs.
The command has just not been there today for Brantford hitters. One coming up to Noel McGarry Doyle. Kicks and throws, and that one's way outside, goes to the backstop, and the speedy Jake Wilson will just have to jog into scoring position. Can't add 2-1. The approach for these Baycats hitters right now is just to take pitches, I think. McGarry Doyle steps back in against the left-handed pitcher, Brian Louie.
Want to succeed almost goes once that big inning is over. Yes. You can see.
1-1. Kicks and throws. And that's a strike. 1-2. Wilson takes the lead off second. Count 1-2 to Noel McGarry Doyle. It has to be 2-2 actually. Here's the pitch. And that's off the end of the bat. It's going to be caught by the shortstop. Rushes to second, but Wilson's back there safely. So McGarry Doyle lines out. Wilson back safely to second after trying to avoid a tag-up error. And that'll bring up Michael Chiquetto.
First base umpire. That's obviously a tough one to see for us.
This is Chiquetto's first at-bat today. Comes in for Malik Williams. Came in actually a couple innings ago defensively for Malik. And now Chiquetto, righty against the lefty, Brian Louie.
Couple of innings ago.
Pitched in there for a strike, 0-1.
Wilson, the runner at second, 1 out, top of the 9.
Jacob Lupton moved to left field. Roger Keane is the new catcher, by the way, after Colton Fountain was ejected. Louie ready on the mound, kicks, throws, and it's up and away.
1
and it's 1-1. This game started at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're now at 10:56, so it has not been a short one. One ball, one strike. Kicks and throws. And that is just low.
1-1 downstairs. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Cat 2-1. One out here in the top of the 9th inning. There's a runner on second. That's Jake Wilson. 2 balls, 1 strike. The Baycats lead 12-2 here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Louis kicks, throws, and that is popped up. Could be playable. Moving over is Keene. Also moving over is Jameson. Keene dropped it. He dropped the ball. Keene moved over, and he looked positioned to make the play, but he ended up dropping the ball. And Chiquetto stays at bat. So Roger Keene, who began this game in left field, moved to catcher, and you'd think the team is frustrated of that one because Colton Fountain, who's been playing catcher more regularly this season, probably makes that catch. And that's the second out of this inning. Chiquetto stays in the batter's box. Count 2-2. And that's up high, and it is 3-2.
Next broadcast for us comes Wednesday night. Kitchener Panthers in town. 8 p.m. start here at Arnold Anderson.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Michael Chiquetto. James Anderson is on deck. Wilson, big lead off second, but probably not stealing with the big lead. And that is hit to left center. Moving over is Fishbaum. Also moving over is the new left fielder, Lupton. It is Lupton that makes the catch, and there are 2 away. James Anderson steps in. He's had a good day. He scored 3 times and been on base 4 times. Popped up his last time, though. I don't think that pop-up's going to be bothering him too much. Jake Wilson, even bigger lead at second. And when I said I don't think he'll be stealing with the big lead, I didn't mean his big lead. I meant the team's big lead. If you're just joining us, it is 12-2 Baycats here in the 9th inning. Count 1-0 after the pitch was inside to James Anderson. It'll be Anderson, and then Tyler Plumpton is waiting on deck for a potential chance. Brian Louie on the mound. Walks Wilson, but everybody since then has got out. Anderson with a big swing there, and it's 1-1. Anderson has 6 RBI this season. Inside. Ben Davey was mentioning it on our Baycats TV broadcast yesterday. James Anderson's a guy where the stats don't tell the story on how valuable he's been for the Baycats this year. Had that walk-off hit early on in the season. Has just been such an important part of this Baycats team. 2-1. Fouled right side and out of play by a lot. The crowd here at Arnold Anderson Stadium started out pretty busy, but not too many people here. A few Baycats fans. I see some Baycats fans. Good to see people wearing Baycats merch here on the road. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here's the pitch from Louie, and it's outside, 3-2. James Anderson stands back in. Jake Wilson, a bigger lead off second. Seems like he's taking a bigger lead every pitch, but they just want to get through this batter. If you're Brantford. If you're Barrie, trying to drive him home from scoring position. Here's the pitch to Anderson. Ground ball left side. That one gets through. It's a base hit. Anderson stops at third, but it's a single for James Anderson. who has been on base 5 times today.
Now back to catcher number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Unbelievable. James Anderson has just been phenomenal today, rewarding Josh Matlow for putting him in the cleanup spot. So now the catcher, Tyler Plumpton, who is also having a fantastic season. Plumpton stands in. And that one's popped up on a pitch inside. Moving in is nobody. 4 or 5 players coming in to try and make that catch, and nobody made it as it bounced off the pitcher's mound. So 4 or 5 position players moving over to make that catch. Nobody called for it, and Tyler Plumpton's on base. With that, James Anderson scores. James Anderson moves to second. Jake Wilson scores. And it is 13-2. And that pop-up was not handled well by that Brantford defense, unfortunately, for the Brantford team. Baycats will take it, though. They've had a great night at the plate. And the Barrie Baycats will enter this road trip with a heck of a start. And it's great to see that the Baycats are heating back up after these last couple of games, because it's a fun team, and it's a well-built team, and it's an exciting team. Definitely seeing that here tonight. An 8-run 6th inning, making it 13-2 Baycats here in the top of the 9th. Carson Burns is up, by the way. 1-1 is way inside. Louis showing frustration as that one goes nowhere near where he wanted it to. And Brian Louis, who entered today with a 1.93 ERA, just not finding the zone the way he wants it to, much like many of these other Brantford players tonight. 2-1 the count. Pitch to Burns, outside, and it's 3-1. There have been a lot of 3-ball counts tonight. Out-of-town scoreboard update, by the way. Both other games in the IBL final as of right now. Hamilton is victorious in their game, 5-1 over the Kitchener Panthers. The Majors have won their game against the Royals, 6-2. So if you look at the standings right now, as Burns checks his swing, he goes 3-2. The Welland Jackfish are still in the lead in the IBL right now with a 10-2 record. London is 8-3. Toronto is 8-6. Barrie is going to improve to 8-6 and be tied with Toronto. Guelph is 6-6 after their loss. Kitchener 5-7 after their loss. Pitch from Louis, and that is hit to the right side and pretty deep. Is back at the wall, and Sutherland makes the catch to retire the side. Just to finish that up, Hamilton drops to 4-7. Brantford is going to drop to 0-12 if this score stands. Heading to the bottom of the 9th, it is 13-2 Barrie over Brantford. You're listening to the Baycats Radio Network and watching on Baycats TV. It feels like essentially every ninth inning has been pitched by Brad Grieveson this year, and this one is no different. So Grieveson working quickly, facing off against Roger Keane, the left fielder who swings and misses. And that's the second strike. Sorry, I missed the first one coming back, but it is the second strike of the at-bat. Keane struck out his last time, but it has walked today and stolen a base. And that is strike 3. Roger Keane down on strikes. Brad Grieveson working quickly and working with strikes. One away.
Now batting number 20, Jesse Fishbaum.
So here's Jesse Fishbaum. Fishbaum, the center fielder, batting for the 5th time today, has not reached base today. The Baycats will be on the road for a couple more games before coming back to Vintage Throne Stadium. London, they'll be facing on Sunday the 19th, and then Guelph on Tuesday the 21st. So London on Sunday, Guelph next Tuesday, and then Thursday the 23rd, they'll be facing off against the Kitchener Panthers. They then face London and Kitchener a couple times. You can see the full schedule on BarrieBaycats.com. 0-2 from Grieveson to Fishbaum is up high. Brad Grieveson has some of the best location in the entire league. Throwing strikes today. Struck out Roger Keane, and now a 2-strike count to Fishbaum, who fouls it away. Grieveson, also the team's pitching coach, has been as reliable a closer as the Baycats have had the last couple of years, easily the most in the last couple of years, but over his career with the Baycats, as reliable a pitcher, I think, as the Baycats have ever had. Brad Grieveson has just been so good as pitches outside for a ball. Working quickly, here it is, 2-2. And that is down and away, so it's 3-2. Grieveson in his second stint with the Baycats. First one was before the championships, as that is grounded to second base, throw on to first. Giacchetto makes the play. Jansen to Giacchetto, 2 away.
Now at third baseman number 5. Correction. Second baseman number 28, Troy Banks.
First pitch from Grieveson to Troy Banks is hit foul right side. Troy Banks has had a nice night. Reached base 3 times, a double, and a couple of walks. Grieveson was the IBL Rookie of the Year in 2002. He was with the team for the 2005 championship, and then left the team for a number of years, came back as the pitching coach last season, ended up as a pitcher as well, and has been one of the most dominant pitchers in the league. That one's hit up the middle for a base hit. Troy Banks on base for the 4th time today. If you had to give a Brantford player of the game for this one, it is unquestionably Troy Banks. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, they have a base runner. Baycats have had Evan Souls, Adam Kahn, Max Loischko, and Brad Grieveson on the mounds. Grieveson with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th, facing off against John DeZomba. We'll keep you updated on Baycats TV coverage of those next 2 road games, and we'll definitely have that next home game on Baycats TV for you. Ben Davey and I will have the call at Vintage Throne Stadium. DeZomba has a couple of groundouts, a single, and a strikeout. Been on base once. Runner on first, and that one's grounded foul left side. Runner is Banks, Troy Banks. In only his 3rd game for the Red Sox, but has really shown what he can do. Was just announced as a signing yesterday on the Brantford website. Obviously, he's been with the team a little longer than that, but has been a good addition for this Brantford team. Grieveson's pitch is grounded weakly on the right side, foul. What a team win this is setting up to be for the Barrie Baycats. It will be their second win in a row. And everything kind of went their way tonight. And it wasn't just a win. They earned this one. They pitched really well. They hit really well. They played good defense. And I suspect Josh Matlow will be very happy with this one. 2-2 the count. John DeZamba at the plate. Brad Grieveson on the mound. Kicks, fires, and swing and a miss. Grieveson strikes him out. The Baycats have won it 13-2. What a game that was. Evan Souls will get the win. Bennett Moore will get the loss. The save. Well, it's 13-2, so there will likely be no official save tonight, but Brad Grieveson with a great ninth inning. The Baycats win it 13-2. Thank you so much for watching on Baycats TV and listening on Baycats Radio. I'm Patrick Melbourne. The rest of the Baycats schedule is viewable on BarrieBaycats.com. We'll also have the game recap shortly for you on BarrieBaycats.com and the Baycats social media channels. I'm Patrick Melbourne.